Hi, thank you for joining me for another Paint With Me video. I decided to start off with a mini series on painting fruit. A while ago, a friend asked me to paint her a collection of fruit, and this inspired me to start this series. Fruits are quite easy to start off with, and when you put them together they make a beautiful collage, so I think this is perfect. In this video we will be painting figs, and this is the second video of this mini series, so if you haven't seen the first, you can go to the description box below and follow the link to get the painting of the pomegranates. You can also see in the description box I've posted a link to get the reference picture that I used to paint this painting, as well as a photo of the painting as you see it now, so that you can also use that as reference when you paint this painting. For this painting you will need a 20 by 20 centimeter canvas, a ruler and a pencil to draw your picture, oil paint, a palette and paper towel. I used 3 brushes. One is approximately 1 centimeter in width and the other one a half a centimeter, and then a fine one to do some detail painting. I also used a palette knife. I start off by drawing my picture onto my canvas using grid lines. I draw the outlines as well as a few lines on the inside. It helps if you mark the places on the lines where the fruit goes or must go, and then it's just easier to connect the lines when drawing the outlines. I am starting with the background using the bigger brush. Take burnt umber and paint under the fruit, and then with white you can paint underneath the brown and make brush strokes into the brown to blend the two colors. You can add a bit more brown closer to the fruit. Continue with burnt umber underneath the fig on the left and add white as you move away from the fruit to the bottom of the painting. Add Payne's grey directly under the fruit to make it even darker. Also blend it by making brush strokes lower down. Continue playing around with burnt umber and white all the way to the bottom. Remember to paint strokes in different directions to add texture and to create a rough look. Move your way up by painting with white, and do not clean your brush so that the brown that is still on your brush blend into the white as you paint the top of the background. Blend the white with the brown and add a touch of burnt sienna to your brush. You can add more burnt umber for blending in darker parts where needed. Take a bit of yellow ochre and with very rough strokes apply here and there at the top of the painting. Mix Payne's grey and white and do the same as you did with the yellow. Add a few final strokes with burnt umber. I'm now going to use my palette knife. I mixed my white with Zalcon. This is a product that thins the paint and makes it easier to apply. And I mix in quite a lot, which makes the paint a bit see-through. If you do not have Zalcon, you can go ahead without it. Just take very little paint and scrape with your knife a bit more to get the paint to blend in with the background. I'm applying the white onto the lighter parts of the background and just here and there. Next, apply Payne's grey. I still have white on my palette knife, so this gives me a light grey color, and I only take a bit on the tip of the knife. Now for some burnt umber. Apply this to the darker parts of the background at the bottom, and then for the top only use the tip of the knife to apply a little bit at the top parts of the background. Add Payne's grey underneath the fruit and just a little bit on the sides. Lastly, I play around with a touch of yellow ochre. Just wipe off your brush, no need to clean it. Mix burnt umber, cadmium red and Payne's grey to get a darkish purple color. Add more Payne's grey for the right side of the fruit where it is very dark. And as you go to the left side, use more red and brown. Mix in some white for the light part and blend it into the darker paint, adding some more red and brown. Once you covered the whole fruit, you can take the smaller brush and mix yellow ochre and white and then paint in the lighter lines on the fruit. Also add a bit of red where needed. Apply the paint very softly with light hand movements. Mix yellow ochre and red to create an orange color and apply here and there, also following the lines on the fruit. Use cobalt blue and red to create a maroonish purple. Add a bit of Payne's grey to create a darker shade. Add more yellow and white around the circle that we left unpainted. With Payne's grey and burnt umber, you can fill the circle. Use a mixture of white, red, the purple we created and brown to add just a few final touches. You can add a few more final touches until you are satisfied. You can now clean your brush with turpentine if you are using oil paint, otherwise water for acrylics. For the next fruit, we are going to start with painting white for the lighter part. Add a bit of yellow on the sides of the white and blend it in. Add green and a bit more yellow at the top. Wipe clean your brush and paint the top part with burnt umber and add just a touch of white. Mix brown and red to paint the fruit and add Payne's Grey for a darker shade, especially the darker shadow at the bottom left hand side. I start off by painting the darker lines on the fruit, and you can also add a bit of burnt sienna to the mixture. Mix a light purple with cobalt blue, red and white and cover the rest of the fruit. Blend the lighter color into the dark colors that's already on the fruit. add green and yellow to blend the white into the light purple. Mix cobalt blue and white for the lighter lines. Also apply it with soft, short brush strokes so that you don't paint a solid line. Apply burnt umber for the darker lines. And Payne's grey for the darkest parts. Now do the same with yellow ochre. After adding a few final touches of white, I'm just smoothing out some of the lines that is a bit too much for me. Then for the last fruit, I start by painting yellow at the top. I'm adding a bit of green and burnt sienna just to get the correct color. Add white for the line on the top. After painting white around the edge of the fruit, make small brush strokes towards the inside of the fruit. Wipe your brush and paint a mixture of brown, red and Payne's grey for the dark parts. Use the orange that you already mixed to paint the fruit and continue to add dark parts while you painting the orange. You can add a bit of red if it is too orange. Mix in some white for the lighter parts as you move around the fruit, and mix the colors of the fruit into the white edges. With burnt umber, add dark short lines on the fruit. You can also use a mixture of red and cobalt blue to vary the dark lines. The smallest brush will be the best for these lines. Now add fine white lines. Try to copy the reference picture's lines. Some parts have more lines together and other places almost nothing. This is very important to create fruit that looks realistic. Mix light yellow for a few final lines. Use purple for the edges and mix it into the white that's already on the painting. With burnt umber, paint the dark lines of the edge. Add yellow to the edge as you make your way to the top of the fruit. You can add a bit of cobalt blue to the edge. After finishing the fruit, I realized that the fruit in the back looks like it's hanging in the air. So I just added a bit more burnt umber to fix that and just a touch of Payne's Grey as well. Thank you so much for painting with me. I hope you enjoyed creating this painting as much as I did.